Doing some of the house cleaning stuff before we get into the cast, and we do have to get into it real quick because we have proxies. In the bottom left, we have the Blue Protoss Psystorm's MaxPax, and at the top right, it is Mao's Esports HeRoMaRinE, who is proxy 2-raxing. Not a particularly popular build versus Protoss. I feel like I haven't seen it that much versus Zerg either, actually, but certainly not versus Protoss. But it does sneak in every once in a while, and you do build Marines and bunker rush the natural. MaxPax is scouting though, so he will know that something is up. And once he sees the gas timings, should also know that it's not going to be a like single proxy Reaper, for instance. And that's very good information. Terran players kind of have to expect to be scouted though, right? That's not necessarily a surprise, but if it was a later scouts, then perhaps they went for a Nexus before Cybernex Core. Or just in general, I guess, if MaxPax type to do that consistently. But his Cybernex Core is on the way, and then his Nexus. So he's going to be able to pump out that Stalker at a good time. Already pumped out the Zealot, of course. Pulled a couple of probes. That's a nice defense. Probes also pulled to take care of the SCVs building the bunker, which is really, you know, the most important part, right? So this seems like a proper response. The trick for Protoss players looking to do this, by the way, is that when SCVs move around the bunker, the probes do stop. Oh, he didn't stop the bunker! The probes stop attacking the SCV. It's really annoying. I assume it's a bug. It might be fixed in a would-be StarCraft 3, but that is kind of the biggest trick of it. There's also a lot of micro to be done with the Zealots. You saw a lot of Marines were very injured. Shield battery is going to get focus fired, but with the SCVs dead, at the very least, this bunker isn't going to be repaired, which is not even at the very least. It's actually a really important feature. So yeah, it sucks the shield battery couldn't have been saved here, but the Stalker should be able to. Another one's out, another shield battery's on the way. And HeRoMaRiNE's 2-rax was very committed, guys. The fact that he could not stop anything really from happening is a big deal. Yes, he killed 4 probes, but even then, 4 probes does not sound like a lot. I thought he killed 6, actually. and 4 is even worse. And now the Marines trying to get any amount of damage done. Only 2 actually enter into the probe line and hit the gas geyser probes, couldn't even focus fire them. This is a catastrophe. HeRoMaRiNE's 2-rax did not work out. Excellent defense from MaxPax, perhaps worthy of looking into if you have trouble against this early aggressive opener. Injured Stalker was not chased down, ends up going across the map. Cyclone will pop out eventually, but as long as it's not, I mean, why not? Sees that he can take the SCV out, building the command center, just all the little things going MaxPax's way. Thank you, Navix, for the 15 months. Now 2 Stalkers on the front lines, about to be 3. The supply depot does have to be repaired. Now that's a loss of a supply depot, like straight up it actually hurts. The Cyclone still pops out, of course, so that's the most important thing. Oh, and it does kill one of the Stalkers. If the 3rd Stalker was still alive, this would actually be really sketch. Oh, it didn't get its last shot off! Oh my god, 1 Stalker with 6 HP is so helpful, because they're still 2-shotting the SCVs instead of 4-shotting. Oh my god. Oh, another Stalker comes forward, a Widowmine's being built, it builds faster. Guarantees a kill. Oh, finally killed the 1 injured SCV. But, oh man. Oh man. How the tables have turned. GG. MaxPax. Amazing defense. I mean, this is a dictionary level defense of the 2-rax. If you look up how to defend 2-rax Marine PvT, this is the build you should see. This is the play you should see. Oof. You know, trying to cheese out MaxPax occasionally works, I'm sure. But funnily enough, with MaxPax's most recent win, I really need the stretch. It was revealed that he had asked Oliveira how to defend some of the early game cheeses in this matchup, and Oliveira was able to help him out. So that might have, I don't know if it was exactly against a 2-rax bunker rush. I actually don't remember, but if it was, this would probably be the worst time that HeRoMaRinE could have done what he did. And if it wasn't, if it was against other early game shenanigans, it probably still helped them. Just in general, knowing more confidently what like the weaknesses of the Terran are, I think would still be helpful. You know, defending a 2-Rex Reaper is very different from defending a 2-Rex Marine, for instance. But say if you learn the tricks to any type of early game defense, obviously if you're very good at microing and you practice microing, that's also really going to help you. And well, MaxPax is certainly good at microing, and now he's up 1-0. Bottom left MaxPax, top right HeRoMaRinE. Not going for a 2-Rex this time. It's a 1 in 500 probably build, actually. Maybe that's a little high, but it's a rare one against Protoss. HeRoMaRinE might certainly be feeling the pressure to be the one to do something a little bit weirder. HeRoMaRinE spent a lot of years dominating the Open Cup, and dominating Protoss in particular. It was a good matchup for him in general, and there was just a lot of Protoss, let's call it fodder, that you had to defeat in the Open Cup. So you got very practiced against them, plus on ladder, right? And then HeRoMaRinE did start to lose his grip on, you know, like 100% win rate versus Protoss. I mean, it was insane. 2 years ago, year and a half ago, whatever, it was insane. He was crazy dominant. And it wasn't MaxPax who necessarily started the trend downward, very much in quotes, by the way, for HeRoMaRinE. Downward just means he's out winning every single Open Cup, all right? Other people also just started to get a little bit better. And, you know, Clem also was there taking cups away from him for a long time. But at some point in the last 6 months, MaxPax has gone from that kind of annoying kid to being one of the most fearsome players to play against. Not just annoying, but annoying and intimidating. Like a 300-pound bodybuilder who flicks like spitballs at you, but if you say something, he's gonna kill you, you know? And of course, we don't know what MaxPax looks like. He could be a 300-pound bodybuilder, we don't know. But better, most likely, a better guess would be that he's probably just some skinny kid in Denmark. But his play is very intimidating. So a lot of people who once did not think of themselves as underdogs, rather thought of themselves as generally the better player, but they had to be wary of his tricks, so they played a defensive style perhaps, now have to be wary of his tricks, of his aggression. Tricks isn't really the right word, just the way that he uses his units is so much more effective and so much like smarter that it's kind of tricky in that way. But they also have to be worried about his macro. So just saying like, I'll high ground CC and play super defensive against the guy until I have Simic combat shields just doesn't really work. It doesn't cut it anymore. Now MaxPax is going for one of his rare outlier builds, a Stargate opener. He still is very much a fan of DTs and Blink 4-gate. But nope, gonna go into an Oracle opener this time. He saw his opponent go for at least a factory, gonna assume that's a 1-1-1. Actually, the Oracle is just gonna get scouted now. It's gonna go ahead and help out against the Reapers, ensure that that's done and over with. Nice block with the Adepts against the Hellion. Not that scouting was the most important thing, as the Oracle revealed itself, but still, one Hellion gets in. It's quite annoying. And now we have the 3 Adept Pressure also looking to join in with the Oracle, which is gaining energy. It's gonna have a Pulsar Beam. Not for very long, but it's gonna have another Pulsar Beam. Medevac is looking to heal up some injured SCVs in the main. He knows what the Oracle was gonna be gunning for. That is something that I would think he was specifically taught from facing MaxPax, actually. Unfortunately, that means it's not in the natural, so it does not help against the Adepts, but a Wood of Mine well placed. Actually did catch MaxPax off guard, so he lost 1 Adept, then another one got gunned down, and I don't even know what happened to the 3rd one. I guess it stayed at home, actually. It figured it couldn't help out. So that was on a 2, it was on a 3 Adept attack, that was a 2 Adept attack. A little less intimidating, but nonetheless well handled by HeRoMaRinE for the most part. 3 SCVs went down. To the hubbub. One of mine looks like it was target fired, killed. Who does it actually favor? I mean, right now it kind of looks like MaxPax, right? MaxPax is ahead 12 workers, which is just ahead on the income, as you can see with the numbers. Because this overlay is so much better. And his third CC is on the way, or third Nexus, sorry, is on the way. Almost completed. Adds on a handful of Phoenix. Looks like he might just stay at 3, which is literally enough to help against drops. I mean, I don't even think it guarantees that you kill the drop. And they help spot, and they can kill a couple SCVs. It kind of seems to be like, if you're going to go Phoenix, it's either 3 or 5. Sometimes you see the single Phoenix in some situations. It is going to be going into Phoenix Charge as well, so very important for HeRoMaRinE to figure this one out. Might figure it out just based off of MaxPax's history, but I gotta say, when MaxPax opens up Stargate, I think he is pretty much 50-50 between Charge and Colossus. It's actually not... I don't think you can default assume that he goes into Charge. So some ways you want to be able to scout there, right, is the amount of gases, natural and third base gases. You could probably see what they're building as well in their army if you get a Marine over here. A scan of the man would also be very revealing. It would see that there is a Templar Archives on the way, which is clearly not going into Colossus on a decent number of gateways. What is on the way, Templar Archives, right, means that we are going to get some extra gas from MaxPax included, but if he doesn't go up to 4, okay, there's the 4th one now, then he really can't, he definitely can't afford Storm. With 4, I think it's technically possible, but then I don't think you get any, like, extra Archons, I think is the way it goes. The Raven wants to reveal the stasis trap so the Bio can kill it, but then the Phoenix want the Raven to go for the stasis trap reveal so they can kill the Raven. It's the micro battle we just had there. +1's almost done for HeRoMaRinE. Definitely no time to get Storm. Definitely just add on that Archon, which will tank so much damage. Especially with that shield battery up, activated, and Guardian Shield, which actually is not going to be used. Force Field slap down. And the Interference Matrix works on Psionic, so it can slap down on that Archon, so it could tank still a lot if you really wanted to, but it's not dealing any damage, and that's a major problem. MaxPax actually thought he had everything necessary to deal with that attack, and he was wrong. That Interference Matrix playing a bigger part against this particular composition than I am used to. Usually when the Raven goes up against Phoenix Charge, you know, an anti-armor missile might be okay. But the Interference Matrix taking out that Archon so the Marines could micro jump on the shield battery without repercussion, without the Archon splash blasts blasting them away, was huge. So they got rid of the shield battery, they got rid of the Archon, still not taking any damage from that, even if the Archon had been enabled at the last second and got a shot off. The shield battery killed is already enough, man. The shield battery killed was already too much. Mr. Chaz, thank you very much for the 17 months. Thanks for all the excellent commentary. I try. Thank you. But that was way more one-sided than I was expecting. Way more one-sided. You know, for MaxPax, I do wonder if he would have been better off going for Mass Charge. Or perhaps he could have added on a faster gas and gone into 2 Archons, and then that would have been pretty big too. But I feel like that was exactly the right moment to strike. Anything later for HeRoMaRinE wouldn't have cut it. MaxPax would have done the warp in, which I think would have done very effectively with those force fields he slapped down. I think the force fields being slapped down when they were, well, it wasn't particularly helpful. I mean, like, they cut off like 6 Marines out of a 20 Marine ball. I don't know if having more units would have pushed him over the edge, or if that was always going to be awkward. I do feel strongly that if the Raven had been picked off and the Interference Matrix did not happen, there's no way that HeRoMaRinE could have snowballed like that. You can't just walk past an Archon that's attacking you to kill the shield battery that's boosting it. But anyways, top left MaxPax, bottom right HeRoMaRinE. Yeah, surprisingly quicker end to that game number 2. And after it seemed to be going pretty much better, a little bit better for MaxPax everywhere we looked. But HeRoMaRinE, with a very decisive move in on that third base, saw the opportunity and took it. And MaxPax could not do anything against it. Very much, I think, underestimated the Terran force. Because I really got to say, like, the interference mentioned on the Archon just seemed so obvious in hindsight. As soon as it was done, I was like, oh yeah, of course. The Archon is like the only thing that's really intimidating right now. The army of MaxPax was not that big. But I really do think the amount of times you see the Terran remember that's an option. So I think more often we see the Terrans kind of go, oh shit, an army, and then they anti-arm missile immediately. Or they just don't get the opportunity, right? The Raven can't get close enough. He's much higher than the Archon actually being disabled. The good stuff from HeRoMaRinE. After game one was such a dominating game for MaxPax that make you worry a little bit. I mean, made me worry a little bit for HeRoMaRinE. But game one was a failed cheese. So there's always that. Not truly indicative of who the better player is, really. You gotta win the best of three to start that conversation. But then you also have to take into account their previous history to say who is truly the better player. And of the last a month and a half, MaxPax has been consistently the better player. With very dominating results, too. They do end up trading, by looks of things. For the last year and a half, they would trade back and forth, back and forth. You win 4, I win 4, you win 2, I win 2. So we'll see if that starts up again here, where HeRoMaRinE does take game 3 and it reverses, and then he wins 3 more. Or if MaxPax really is reaching the peak of his ability. That he is now Super Saiyan 4, or whatever the hell Dragon Ball is now. Proxy Gateways found out this is that basic gateway opener that I was talking about when we watched Mana versus Kelazur a couple series ago. And I said this is something that MaxPax is I mean, more so doing it than the other Protosses. I don't know if it's his thing necessarily, like the MaxPax was definitely his thing. This could be his thing, I don't know, but he definitely does it a lot. Pylon has been destroyed, however, so Gateway was depowered, which really is a kick in the nuts, because that just takes away so much of the snowball effect that MaxPax is looking for. He is going to bother replacing the Pylon, and eventually he'll be able to warp enough units to once again intimidate HeRoMaRinE from ever moving out. But if he wanted to try and hit that crucial timing to stop the bunker from finishing, to cause a little more chaos, you kill 2 SCVs, the bunker finally gets up. Then you arrive with 6 stalkers. Bunker gets damaged, like it doesn't get repaired fast enough. I mean, probably a little less likely to happen, but still, I think more SCVs could have been killed. More so the goal with this type of opener. Now the gateway's back up and running, warps and adepts. So definitely not going to go for particularly big busts, but hoping to get into that mineral line, which of course they'll be able to. Nothing to really stop those adepts, is there? The question is, will it be worth it? 3 adepts blocked out from escaping off to the right side thanks to a cleverly placed engineering bay. And the auto turret out of damage, and they had to run back to the tank fire. So in total, 3 SCVs have died. Not worth MaxPax's opening so far, because he's lost 4 adepts, but he also did prioritize those gateways. Now he's getting into Blink, but it is, again, later Blink. You don't add the Twilight Council on as your second, your third. Gateway, Cinematic Core, Twilight Council. You don't do that. You go Gateway, Cinematic Core, Gateway, Twilight Council. So there's not really an immediate jump up to Blink that can be very, very intimidating. Can cause a snowball effect. This was hopefully going to cause a kind of like a smaller one, but much earlier on. And it just didn't. Just didn't. So now Blink is going to be an accessory to a robo play, which is still important. 2-base robo wants to have some type of mobility, some type of, any type of map presence, and of course some ability to deal with drops and Vikings. Blink Stalkers are going to be that option. But the presence isn't usually all that strong when you're going for 2-base Blink Colossus, but a Warp Prism does help a little bit. So Blink still isn't done. Stalkers would not be able to harass at all if it wasn't for this Warp Prism. HeRoMaRinE has no idea what's happening on the other side of the map, by the way, which I do think is important to point out because I'm not sure how often MaxPax goes into this follow-up. I've seen him do this opener before, and sometimes to great effect. He's actually won a couple of games with this opener. You know, the games I've seen him had a macro out of it, I do think he went into Link Charge before. Alright, that got a little messy, didn't it? 3 Stalkers went down. Handful of bio units went down too, so maybe not the worst trade overall, but remember that MaxPax is still in kind of a vulnerable position. Pure Blink Stalker is not supposed to go up against bio, as much as Mono was trying to prove the what-if scenario. And 1 Colossus can't cover all 3 bases. But if maybe MaxPax gets a little lucky, and the drop goes right towards that Colossus, which certainly it is currently doing so, then he's going to be able to defend that base no problem. But he has to be careful. He doesn't have any spotters out trying to look for these drops. He has the main attack points and drop points covered now, but that Warp Prism missed the drop, and it's only because it went right into that natural where the Colossus and Shield Battery was that it gets denied so easily. If it had run into this 3rd base, boom, instantly a lot of probes dead. If it dropped into the main base, Forge probably dies. Instead, this almost is nothing. It's basically nothing. So MaxPax, I would say, get a little lucky there. Now, Stalkers have been completely moved away from the front lines. HeRoMaRinE is now the big bully on the play field. He's got the army type to do it. 20 army supply up as well with an upgrade advantage. But MaxPax has gotten to those 2 Colossus. Really, I think, quite important to get up to 2. That's going to be maybe enough DPS to burn him through the bio. 1 definitely would not have been enough. But things are already very awkward. Stalkers coming from the rights, which is fine. The awkward part, yeah, is that there's nothing buffering the Colossus. And now the recall has just been used on the 3rd base, which means they can't recall into the main. The Stalkers left over there was not enough to stop a quad drop. And HeRoMaRinE looks like he has found the weakness. Now, MaxPax has been in a precarious scenario for the last 3 minutes, as I tried to explain, but he was initially getting that luck on his side, trying to get into the best position possible. It worked out here. It did not work out here. He was still, at the end of the day, taking some really difficult decisions in mind. Where to place the still very insignificant army. How do I defend against all the drops he can do? Is my main army powerful enough to survive against it? Colossus gets popped and Overcharge gets baited. And something had to give. I mean, not had to, but something did eventually give. That main base was a real vulnerable spot. Those Stalkers having to come in from the right side instead of joining up on the left side. Couldn't even take advantage of their supposed, like, sniping potential, too. So they really were quite useful on the right side. It all snowballed from there, but HeRoMaRinE having his own troubles still against some harassment of his opponents. Charge is done, and the Zealots did at least bring some of that army back home. But this is really the only chance MaxPax has to bring this game back, is that if he strikes at the right moment every single time with Warp Prism harassment or Zealot harassment in general. So, well, he's already getting, again, a bit lucky. Yep, HeRoMaRinE missing the SCV on this command center. Good 20-second delay there, but the Warp Prism is going to get found out by the Viking, and that is going to be a dead Warp Prism. It's already injured. So not super great. Not super great. And MaxPax really needed that Warp Prism. HeRoMaRinE staying on 2 bases still, because the 3rd CC is not done. He's going to have reinforcements covering this natural entrance. Are you kidding me? No Zealots are going to harass. So did they buy enough time for MaxPax to rebuild his army? Maybe. MaxPax losing probes on the natural to Woodmine drop by looks of things, but with 3 Colossus and a Guardian Shield on the 3rd, will not be losing the 3rd anytime soon. Woodmines will eventually be cleaned up, and that's something that MaxPax has to take. He's got to take the hit on the chin there and just keep on rolling with it. He's down 11 workers. His opponent does take his 3rd CC. Down 30 army supply overall, but well-positioned Colossus with a shield battery. That'll cover a lot of supply. HeRoMaRinE is starting to add on those Vikings, but he's only going to be at 5. And MaxPax is looking to strike when he still has that kind of tech advantage. The Colossus are hoping to take advantage of their range. That's the word, the range. Which they can only do so much against tanks, by the way. Disruptor's gonna help cover them, though. Okay, that was a great split from HeRoMaRinE. A couple of Archons joining on the fray, and that is really important. Something to help defend the units that are so vulnerable, the Stalkers and the Colossus. No more charge lots here. No Warpers gonna help out. Those Zealots go into that third base. Also jump on top of those tanks, and this is how MaxPax does it, man. This is how he brings a game back, but he is still losing probes, so What Am I drops back at home. Obviously revealing his Dark Shrine intentions as well, but, you know, that's not exactly a surprise. When behind Dark Shrine, MaxPax definitely a believer in that motto. And MaxPax, I think, just kind of recognizing this was all in. He had to focus all attention on doing this here, and it might have won him the game, even if he loses all of his probes back at home. But it didn't win in the game, and now HeRoMaRinE had time to build up more of an army, jumped on top of the Colossus, jumped on top of the Stalkers. DTs, even if they do a colossal amount of damage, will not be enough to bring this game back. GG. HeRoMaRinE breaks the 4-loss streak on the 5th series, and will advance on to the finals of the Open Cup.